All right, let's try that again. Sorry about that, guys. I will go on and fix that issue um, as soon as I get a chance. Sorry about the confusion. Man, I wasn't on 2 seconds. And everybody started saying, your live chat's off, your live chat's off. You guys are on top of it, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Hey, Beth. Hey, John. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Melissa. Hope you're doing better. Hope everybody had a great week. I did. You guys, please share. Let everybody know that we are on tonight. Even though YouTube's being kind of iffy with me, they keep changing their structure on their age restrictions. Like before, the only way you could have live chat was to have it kid friendly. And now, if you have it kid friendly, you can't have live chat. So I don't know. It's hard to keep up with them, guys. I think they keep getting in trouble, sued, and all this stuff, and so they don't know which way to go with it either. But it's all good now. We've got our live chat on, and it's really good. I have it on, not made for kids, but without age restrictions. So you guys still be kid friendly tonight, please. Pretty please. Hello, Katie. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Beth. Hello, John. You guys let everybody know we're on, please. If you would, go share. And if you haven't already done so, please hit that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you will always know when we are on. We have a really cool show tonight. We are going to be talking about LED. What is LED, you might ask? LED is life after death. What happens to our soul? And we might even look at a little bit about what happens to our body when we die. Some of the theories and some of the facts. So it's going to be a pretty informative show tonight. We do have a topic. A lot of times we come on, we don't have a topic. We just let it go where it goes. But as always, we will start out with the announcements and the shout outs and all the other stuff. You guys let everyone know. Like I said, you guys go share for me. Thank you, Beth, for liking and sharing. Liked and shared. I appreciate it. There's 5 people on and only 2 likes. Y'all better go hit that like button. Sure. I am doing the exact same thing. I wouldn't ask my CAPI fam to do something that I wouldn't do. So I am telling everybody we're here as well. All right, we want to give some shout outs. We have some shout outs to give. I want to give a big shout out to Donna Morgan. I don't know if Donna's on yet or not. I did let her know that we were on, but I don't know if she's come on yet. But I want to give a big shout out to her. She bought some merch. Y'all know that we give shout outs. If you want your name and on a shout out on the show, just go get that merch and we will give you a shout out just like we did with Donna Morgan. We appreciate you, Donna. Thank you so much for buying merch. Please keep doing so. And everybody else, please keep buying some merch. Good morning from Greece. Hello, Greece. I can't say your name because it's in another language. Greek, I guess. I don't know. But um, I'll call you Greece. How are you doing, Greece? Oh no, so sorry to hear that. Beth, the man only seems to get it worse than us women. Isn't that the truth? Women, men do usually. You know what? I don't think that men get any sicker when we get sicker. I don't think we do get sicker than women do. There is a difference in Michelle and I when we get sick. When she gets sick, she is a lot more capable and more resilient than I am when I get sick. When I get sick, I turn into a 2-year-old little baby. I really do. I turn into a little baby. I have to admit it. I want her to wait on me and get me medicine. And, I whine a lot and all that stuff. I don't think that men get sicker than women. I just think that women are more resilient than we are. They're more pain tolerant. They're more, driven, because a mom, especially a mom, all women are more resilient than men. I agree, but um, I'm trying to keep up with y'all's text. I'm sorry. I mean your post. Uh, I think women are just, they can handle pain better. They can handle sickness better. And like I said, a mom really can handle it a lot better because she has, a mom is a mom. Just because a mom gets sick doesn't mean the responsibilities of being mom go away. You know what I mean? She's still got to jump in there and do what she's got to do. So I think women are just a little more resilient, or a lot more resilient than we are. That's because us women have gone through childbirth. We know what pain and agony is. That's right, Katie. I think you guys were given that. I think the Lord gave you guys a lot more resiliency and buoyancy and uh, tolerance and willpower a lot more than men. Now, men are the braver souls, obviously, and the protectors. But whenever it comes to being sick or something like that, we just crumble. And it's great when we have somebody wonderful around. Tom is sick. Our team member Tom is sick. He has the flu. Unfortunately, we think it's the flu. We're hoping not, but we think it is. He's kind of showing some signs of the flu. Hopefully, it's just a bad sickness, a bad cold, and he'll get over it and jump right back into his life. But it is awesome that he has one of the most amazing people that I know. Um, a true Southern Belle, wonderful wife and mom all around. And that's our wonderful Beth, our case manager. I know Tom is in great hands. He is in wonderful hands with such an amazing person to be there with him. So that's great. Let's see. Let me catch up here. That's because I already read that. I've been sick for a couple of. This is Melissa. I've been sick for a couple of days now. I have no voice, so I'm thinking my hubby likes me not talking so much. Your laryngitis is um your woe, but it's his pleasure, right? He doesn't have to listen to you. Nurse Betty, yeah, yeah. Beth is playing Nurse Betty tonight. John, our team manager, his daughter is sick. Allison, she's very sick. So you guys keep her in your prayers right there, along with Tom as well. Um, Keep our co-founder Corey and um, in your prayers. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Choking. Keep our co-founder Corey in your prayers. He lives up North Alabama, and that's where they're shipping all of the coronavirus uh, quarantine patients. Is up close to where he lives. So y'all keep Alabama in your prayers, and North Alabama, and more specifically, our co-founder. Also, Katie, one of our Patreons, um, her niece. I'll get the name wrong if I just say it out loud. I'll have to read it. She sent me, she said that her 13-year-old niece, Maggie, has emergency brain surgery this morning. She had it this morning. Her shunt collapsed on her. Um, she has had some ongoing problems, and she had a shunt in, and it collapsed. Yesterday, she was having double vision, migraine, intermittent paralysis with loss of bladder function. Her sister said that the surgery went well, but just trying to control the pain now. Y'all can, I mean, I don't know if you can or not, if you can imagine the pain that that precious little 13-year-old, her name is Maggie. So y'all please keep Maggie in your prayers as well. I'm going to try to crop this so I can show you guys Maggie, because she is so beautiful. Little 13-year-old angel, and she's going through so much. You know what? I don't really have permission to do that, so I'm not going to show you. But she really is. Y'all take my word for it. Her little girl's pretty, but she's got a lot of problems going on right now, and that just, like I said, I can't imagine 13 years old and she's going through that. But at least she is a female. She is more resilient. At least it's not a male going through it. But yeah, y'all keep her. Her name is Maggie. She is Katie's niece. So y'all please keep her in your prayers as well. That I just, it irks me so much when a child goes through a sickness, cancer and a collapsed shun like Maggie, and just all. It's just, it's crazy whenever they go through that. You know, it's unnecessary. It makes you question a lot. It really does. If you guys, God forbid, have ever lost a child, you know that there's no greater pain than that. And it just, I have lost a child, and there is, and I almost lost another child. I had doctors upon doctors and upon doctors telling me that my another one of my children was going to die, and there was nothing they could do about it. But thank God we didn't accept that. But yeah, it sucks when kids have to go through that. But yeah, y'all keep her in your little Maggie in her prayers. I'm not going to go into detail, but I want to add someone else to our prayer list. Her name is Haley. She is 14 years old. I'm not going to go in details what she has. She's one of our new clients. Her and her family is one of our new clients. I want y'all to add her to your prayers too. I had the pleasure, the unimaginable pleasure of meeting Haley and her family tonight, and just amazing people. They're new CAPI clients, and they're going through a lot of stuff right now, especially Haley, not Haiti. I've been doing research on life after death, and I got Hades on the brain, but Haley is her name, and she's been going through a lot more than just, you know, what they're dealing with spiritually. So you guys keep her in your prayers as well. All right. Also keep me and my family in your prayers as well. None of us are sick, but we've been feeling kind of blah. Paramama's been down. She's been hurting a lot. She's having female issues. Females know what I'm talking about. But she doesn't have regular female issues. She has pretty butt kicking female issues. So y'all please keep her in your prayers as well. I haven't been sick, knock on wood. But I have been feeling kind of blah, you know, and I don't want to get sick. So also keep us in your prayers. Dakota is not sick. She's fine. She's jumping around all over the place. I think the cold is scared of Dakota. I think sickness is very scared of Dakota. It won't bother her. It's very frightened. Let me catch up with y'all. So anytime you guys want to throw somebody in on the prayer list, pop their name up there. You don't even have to tell us what's going on. Just pop their first name up and who, you know, what they are to you. And, or if it's you, just say, you know, keep your prayers up for me or whatever. And then we'll definitely add them to our prayer list. Cause y'all, prayer works. I'm here because of prayer. I'm able to do this show right now because of prayer. All right. A lot of you people already know, a lot of the CAPI family and fans already know that in 2001, I was told I had 6 months to live and that there was nothing medically that could be done. And that I just had to accept the fact that I was going to die. And I refused to do that. I went to prayer instead. I've sat in a level 1 trauma center with some of the best doctors in the Southeast standing next to me, telling me that one of my children would not live through the night. That child did go into a coma, and 22 days later woke up from that coma and has been alive ever since. And so, power of prayer is real. Be it faith, be it positive thinking, whatever, it does work. Thank the Lord, it does work, because it would be so much more wrong with the world today than it is if it didn't work. So let's see here. I think this has been a rough couple of days. Are we good? Yeah, you'll make it, Katie. Katie's one of the strongest people I know, one of the most amazing women I know. So I know she'll, and one hell of a mom. So I know she'll make it. Okay, let me see where I've been sick. Okay, I read that part. Nurse. Melissa, I hope you feel better soon. Yes, Melissa. Yes, thank you. Melissa's been sick too, guys. Y'all keep her in your prayers too. Melissa's one of our dear friends. She's a great friend of CAPI, and we love her so much. So, yes, get better, Melissa. She's been through a lot. She's just had surgery not long ago, and now she's sick. Bless your heart. They're supposed to be bringing the sick off the ship to East Alabama. Yep, that's what they're doing. The ones that came back from Japan, and now they're going to East Alabama. It's Northeast Alabama. We have a bunch of them here in San Antonio too. Yeah, we were just talking about that. You sure do. They're being quarantined at Lackland Air Force Base. Man, that just, oh. My screen keeps jumping and I lose my Pele. So I'm praying for Maggie. You have my permission to show her picture. Katie says you have my, oh, Maggie. Okay. I can do that, Katie. Absolutely. Y'all, I wanted to show you, but I didn't want to because I didn't have permission. But she is so gorgeous. Let me find back where I was at. I'm going to crop everybody else out because I don't have permission to show them. But I'm going to just put her. I hope y'all can see this. Look how pretty this little girl is. She's going through so much. Something that angelic shouldn't be dealing with crap like she's having to deal with. But hey, it's going to make her a stronger person, and she's going to have one heck of a testimony, right? That's what got me through everything I've been through. As I said, I got one heck of a testimony. Hey, Joni, they supposed to be infected people. Okay, you're hi. Just talking to a friend at the barn about the old hotel. I think she said Lancaster and Wetumpka. Have you investigated the building? Yes, we did. Joni, thank you for asking. I'm sorry I didn't get to you earlier. I was trying to get past all the prayer announcements. But yes, Joni, we have done the Lancaster Hotel several times, actually. We have a very interesting EVP from the Lancaster Hotel in Wetumpka, Alabama. It is, I can't repeat it because we are kid friendly. But I'll say it so that you guys will know what it is. There was a handful of us, I think maybe 3 people in a certain section of the hotel. And we could talk about the hotel. I'm not breaking any rules here before y'all start hollering at me saying, I thought you said you couldn't talk about your investigation. We can talk about this because it's public knowledge. All right. They do a tour there. The reason why we were even doing investigations in Wetumpka was to build the tour, their haunted history tour that they do every year. I actually think they stopped it because of stupidity, but I think they're going to bring it back. I heard that a lot of people in Wetumpka are going to fuss until they bring it back. So I don't know if it'll happen or not. But the Lancaster Hotel, it's very interesting. There was, like I said, there was about maybe 3 of us standing around, and we were doing an invest with EVPs, and about halfway through the EVPs, we're talking. But when we do EVPs, we usually ask questions about, what we want answered in the EVPs. But then we'll also have like small talk on the side. We'll talk about other stuff too, that's because we get a lot of EVPs just by idle chit chat, more so than we do just by, asking questions. Y'all, I couldn't find my cup, my CAPI cup. I'm sorry. I'll have to, it's somewhere around here. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, Jen. I don't have a clue. I've never even seen it do that before. Try logging out and coming back in without that link. Just try going to YouTube and looking up Central Alabama or CAPI Paranormal. Excuse me. Try doing that, Jen. I've never seen that. I don't even know what that means. That's crazy. Sorry, somebody was having trouble logging in. But Joni, about the Lancaster, it's so funny. But we were there and we were doing EVPs, blah blah blah, and we were doing idle chit chat back and forth during the EVP session, and which we do a lot because, like I said, you get a lot more evidence a lot of times through uh, idle chit chat than we do saying, can you tell me your name, or is anybody here with us right now, or any of that cliche stuff. But the about halfway through the session, we're talking, and we don't hear anything audibly. Later on, when we're doing EVPs, one of us, it wasn't me, another investigator was doing case studies, and they were doing EVPs, and they're sitting there, they're listening, they're listening. So and so says, "Can you tell me your name?" And then they start talking just idly, like, "Oh, I really love this building," and blah blah blah. And in the background, there is a male voice that comes in, very distraught, very angry, and he says in a very loud, clear voice, it's one of the clearest EVPs I've ever heard. He says in a very loud voice, "Can you not hear me?" Obviously, he was frustrated because we weren't answering his questions, and we never heard the questions before that, even in the case study. But he didn't just say, "Can you not hear me?" He said, "Can you not," 4-letter word ing, "hear me?" Very clearly, very loudly, very a matter of factly. So yeah, that was interesting. But we got a lot more than just that. We had a lot of orbs there at the Lancaster and a lot of personal experiences. Lancaster was an awesome, awesome place. So yeah, if you're still talking to your friend about Lancaster, tell her that it is listed as very haunted, very active. Oh my God, this is Maggie's 5th brain surgery. Wow. God almighty, I can't imagine. I've been to 3 brain surgeries, and it about killed me. Just it just irks me that kids have to go through that, man. I'm trying to keep up, y'all. Give me 1 second. Started my new job last week. Yes, y'all also keep John in your prayers. He started his brand new job last week, and it's going really well. So that is awesome. Katie says, "I'm having my nerves in my back burn tomorrow morning. Wednesday, I am having a root canal, and Thursday, my dad goes in for his bone marrow aspiration, blood work, and PET scan. Many prayers." Yes, dear Lord. Katie's gonna be going through it. She already has, her and her whole family, and now they're having to deal with Maggie, and now her dad having surgery and her having surgery, and or a root canal, and then she's doing the nerve burn. It's, oh, bless her heart. President Trump canceled the Alabama quarantine. Are you serious? How do you know that, Maggie? Where are you getting that info from? Please tell me, how do you know that? All right, guys, I'm turning down my sound on my phone. Um, so if y'all text me and I don't get it, don't be offended. I got to do the show, and I can't keep. That's unfair to you guys to keep going back and forth to this. So if you text me, I will get back to you later. I promise. Hey, Tom, Melissa's getting better. Awesome. Y'all keep her in your prayers too. Thank you, Tom, for coming on and letting us know. Tom's daughter was involved in an automobile accident that messed her back up really bad, and she's getting better. So that's awesome. We've been praying for her, Tom. So we're going to keep on praying because we don't want her to get better. We don't want her to be getting better. We want her to get better. We want it to be over with and back to normal. So yeah, we're going to continue praying really hard for her. Thank you so much, Tom, for the update. Apparently, there was a bridal party at the hotel. The bride to be fell down the stairs and died and landed on the groom to be's feet. Did you hear about the poker night there? Yes, yes, I've heard all those stories. The ouch. Um, y'all, I'm sorry to keep moving around, but for some reason my leg is shooting pains. I might have to break and come back, but I don't know what's going on. It's shooting pains all the way up to from my ankle past my knee. I don't know what's going on there. That really hurts. It's my fake leg too, so that's kind of crappy that it's doing that. All right. Yes, that is true, Joni, about the bride falling. It's pretty bad. They get married, and she's coming down the stairs, in her, how they do with the somber music and blah blah blah, and they're coming down really gracefully. But she falls and dies. She falls at the feet of at the bottom of the stairs where the preacher and the um, best man and groom are, and boom, she breaks her neck and dies. So yeah, that sucks. You think you're having a bad day? That's a bad day. Fall down the stairs and die on your wedding day during your wedding. If Jen is using hospital Wi-Fi, it may have something to do. That's right. I didn't think about that. John, tell her about that. It may be the Wi-Fi in the hospital. Yep, the quarantine has been lifted. That is awesome. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. Um, that's awesome. I'm glad they did that. I think it was Senator Shelby that announced it today. Good, good, good. I'm glad that they had the mindset to do that. I think okay, I made it, John. Jennifer finally made it. Awesome. Hi, Jennifer. Y'all add Jennifer to your prayers as well. She's in the hospital with the pancreatitis. So y'all add her to your prayers as well. She's actually in the hospital being treated. So um, she actually was on her way to her parade and passed out in her car. Um, Passed out at a stop sign, I believe, or at a gas station, something like that. She can verify it, but yeah, she is. She's doing much better. She's in the hospital, thank goodness, and doing better. So, all righty. Got on to fix chat, and the team already had it done. What was wrong with chat? You talking about at the very beginning? Yeah, at the gas station. She was at the gas pump and passed out. Hi, Corey. I guess that's what he's talking about. He got on to fix the chat on the beginning. It was just because of the setting it was on. It wasn't broken or anything. It was just the setting. That's all it was. I fixed it. If anyone is interested in taking the class, please email me, jbowen.capi@gmail.com. Y'all see that link on there for John's or email. If you're wanting to take the paranormal haunting investigations class, please go to his email. He's got the link right there. It's jbowen.capi@gmail.com, and pop that up there and email him and let him know you want to take the class, and he'll give you all the particulars and details on that. If you want to join the book club, go to Beth's email. Beth, if you'll pop your email up there, please, ma'am. Go to her email and let her know, and she will send you all the details on joining the book club, um, which is going to be really soon. We got to get that started pretty soon. We're trying to give everybody a chance that wants to do it to get in there, get signed up for it, and also to get the book and get it read, read or listened to. So let's do some announcements real quick, and then we'll get started. And if you guys have any other announcements or anything like that, y'all pop them up there. Um, if you are interested in joining the CAPI team, the class is your first step. That's right. If you want to be on CAPI, we are still looking for a couple investigators. Y'all, I needed investigators today. My team is either sick or too far away or taking care of a sick person. So, and we didn't have enough people today. We needed some people. I needed some help today, and we just, we need a couple more investigators. So if you guys are interested and you're in the river region, or if you're in Alabama, basically, if you're in anywhere in Alabama, just and you're interested in being part of CAPI, please let John know. Email him, and the first thing to do is, and y'all see that Beth did put hers up there. It's bharris.capi@gmail.com. And let her know if you want to join the book club. What are the details on the book club? Joni, if you would email Beth, just a couple of hits above you is Beth. You'll see her in blue with the wrench, just like John, and it has her email, bharris.capi, CAPI, @gmail.com. That's BHARRIS .capi@gmail.com. Email her and she'll give you all of the information on the book club. Want to give shout outs to our two Patreons. Our two Patreons is Katie Campbell and Cassandra Olson. We love you guys so much. Thank you for becoming VIP Patreons. We got a lot of content coming up really soon that you guys are going to fall in love with, and you're going to be the only ones that get to see it. So, you guys, if you love the CAPI live show and you want more, remember we've got a whole nother show coming up that you got to be a Patreon to even see it. You can't go on YouTube and search and find CAPI Pub. I mean, you can't do it. You'll probably find where we've written about it on the show, but you're not going to be able to watch it unless you're a VIP Patreon. I think it's 2 levels, the middle level and the top level, that you can watch CAPI Pub, and that's coming up really soon. We're fixing to start filming. Those will not be live shows. They will be shot live, but they won't be aired live. And those are coming up really, 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 really soon. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff you're going to miss out on. Go to our Patreon. The link is down there. John, if you'll pop up the Patreon link as well in the chat so everybody will see it. But yeah, do that. And if you want to be in the book club, don't just go get The Demonologist. That's the book we're fixing to do by Gerald Brittle. The life and the extraordinary life of Ed and Lorraine Warren. It's the paranormal duo team, the husband and wife duo team that was featured in the movie The Conjuring. It's a kind of a little brief history on their life. It's a pretty big book. When I say brief, I just mean it doesn't go into John or Ed was born in 1820, any of that stuff. It goes into a few of their cases. And not all of their cases, but some of the better ones. And it's an awesome read. So if you guys want to join the book club, Joni, I think it was you that expressed some interest in doing the book club, please email Beth and she will give you all of the particulars. And we don't want you to just go get the book. All right. We want you to either, one, join Audible with the link that's down there. If you would get that link, Beth, if you'll put that Audible link up as well, please. If you join it right now and do the free 30-day free trial, we get a little piece of the pie. So if you would go ahead and do that, whether you want to be on the book club or not, to help us out, go do the free trial for audible.com. Go do that. And there's some great books on there and you can listen to them instead of reading them. You can listen to them. So please go do that. If you just want the hard book and you don't want to listen to it on Audible, on Audible, we get a little kickback. If you join the 30 days free trial and you also get a free book, if you do that, we get a little kickback from that. So you'll be helping us out too. And it doesn't cost you anything to help us out. And then if you don't want it after 30 days, or if you're just doing it to help us out after, before the 30 days is up, just cancel your subscription to Audible. And that way you don't get billed for it and you still get a free book. And if you do decide you want to keep Audible, I suggest you keep it because it's freaking amazing. If you do a lot of traveling like I do, it's great to have because you can have any book you want read to you while you're driving instead of listening to the Rush Limbaugh or Bad Country or Old Rock. You can listen to a novel while you drive down the road, and that's always a lot of fun. Sorry, y'all. It's been a long day. Beth, excuse me. That's what I meant to say was Beth has had me running ragged today. People always call me boss man. I'm not the boss, y'all. It's Beth. Beth is the real boss. Y'all just don't know. I'm just a figurehead. I'm like the queen. That's all I am. That's it. Beth is the real boss. Beth is Parliament. I'm the queen and Beth is Parliament. That's it. So she's been running me like a cheap labor today, big time. So she's got me all kinds of tired. But I don't care. I love her to death anyway. But yeah, if after your little 30-day review of Audible, and then you decide, hey, I like this is really cool, and you decide to keep it, we get another kickback. so y'all could give Audible a try. They're gonna Audible ad is at the bottom of our website. Okay, there you go. Just go to our website, which is capiparanormal.com, and go to the bottom of it, and you'll see the Audible. But if you want the regular book, if you don't want to listen to some, if you're one of those people that would rather read the book than have it read to you, then go to our website, www. I don't think you have to do www anymore, do you? I think I'm the only one on the planet that still says www. But go to capiparanormal.com, and that's our website, CAPI paranormal.com. And go to the books. And what we do is we, at all times, we have about a dozen books that are suggested by me. It's called the Founders Book Suggestions. And when you read through the books, you'll see that there's, a bunch of them on there. We pick one of those books every time, and then we do a book club reading on it. So go to our website. I'm going to keep wanting to say www. Thank you for joining us here. Don't say www. Just go to capiparanormal.com. That's all you got to do. Why worry about www? www ain't nothing but a WWF, WWE. I want you Friday night at the Omri. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tie your butt to the turncoat and the turnbuckles. I've been hitting the head way too many times. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just muscle and dumb. That's it. Go to CAPI Paranormal, not www, capiparanormal.com, and get go to the books, click on the book, click on the actual book. And what that'll do for you is that'll take you to Amazon where you can purchase the book. So if you want to join the book club, you got to have the book, and you don't want to have it read to you. You just want the regular book. Go to our site. Don't go to Amazon. Go to our site. I swear, if you say www one more time, I am going to take your tongue out and cut it off with a pair of dull scissors. Don't talk to me like I'm starting to talk to myself. Stop. Oh, see, this man, and y'all don't even need to know. Go to capiparanormal.com and get the books. Just click on it. It'll take you to Amazon. Buy the book. Have it shipped next day. Don't wait a week. Get it next day so you can go ahead and start reading it. Get it read. And then join the book club. What you've done there is not only have you gotten a really great book and a really great read, but you also helped CAPI out because we get a percentage of that. Okay. So yeah, definitely, www is okay. It works both ways. I know it works both ways, but nobody says www anymore. They just say the website. They don't say www Johnny Can't Shut the Hell Up.com. They don't say that. They just say Johnny Can't Shut the Hell Up.com. That's all they say. That is an actual website. Go to it. It will be me telling you stuff that you don't need to know. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is. Don't go to it because it might be some kind of weird moon fantasy porn or something. I don't know. Don't do it because then you're going to say I told you to go there and like ruined your brain function forever. All right, let me catch up here. Move to Alabama, Katie. Katie will never move to Alabama. Katie has a self-hatred for the state of Alabama. I don't know why. I think it's just Yankeeism. I don't know what it is. She has a big-time hatred for the state of Alabama. Oh, my God, I want a cig right now. Can you not smoke in there, Jennifer? No, you can't smoke in there? That's crazy. Where are you at? I know you're in a hospital, but some hospitals you can smoke in if you're a patient. Look, ask your nurse because a lot of people don't know this. Like when I was at UAB, I am a smoker. I was a smoker then too. And when I was at UAB, you could smoke in your room if you're having to recover from something like a trauma or surgery or anything like that. If you're having to recover, they don't want you to stop smoking cold turkey because you mess up your immune system when you do that. So talk to your doctor or your nurse. they they don't advertise it, but if you meet certain criteria, here's the criteria I had to meet at UAB, the University Hospital in Birmingham. This is the criteria I had to meet to be able to smoke in my room. One, I had to be bedbound. I couldn't get out of bed. I was paralyzed after my first surgery. I couldn't move. So I had to be bedbound. I had to be recovering from something like surgery, a traumatic surgery or injury or something like that. I did fit that as well. I had to smoke more than half a pack a day normally, and I could only have 2 cigarettes a day. If I can handle just 2 cigarettes a day, that was the criteria I could meet. And if you meet all those, a lot of hospitals, you can smoke in your room. If you're in a private room, you can smoke in your room if you meet those 4 criterias. You have to be bedbound. You can't get up, can't go walk around. They'd have to put you in a chair and wheel you down there. In my case, I couldn't even go in a chair. They would have had to wheel me in a gurney. You have to be recovering. You have to smoke more than at least half a pack of cigarettes a day normally. And you could only have 2 cigarettes a day, which was better than nothing. Especially if so check with your doctor or your nurse. They may be doing it. A lot of hospitals do that, but they don't advertise it. And they won't come to you and say, hey, do you smoke? If you meet these criteria, you can smoke. They won't do that because they don't want you to do it. But a lot of them, they will let you smoke in there if you ask them. So check that out. That's what we call it. Elmore County Hospital, Elmore County Morgue. Yeah, I've heard that. It's a coast. See what she said, Beth? I just saw your comment. Absolutely will never move to Alabama. Y'all, Katie has never even been to Alabama and hates it. Yeah. Yankeeism. Sad. I'm not bedbound. They want me to quit. Oh, you're not bedbound. Okay. Yeah. You have to be bedbound to meet that's the number one thing is you have to be bedbound. Alabama is beautiful. Alabama is not beautiful. Alabama is the beautiful. That's why it's called Alabama the Beautiful. It's the most beautiful state on there in the nation. It's the most amazing. It's the only place I'll live. But I don't want to get into that. Everybody love your state. All right. Do we have any other things we need to talk about? We have CAPI camping coming up in May, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, John or Beth. But I think May. We have CAPI camping coming up. Or is it March? I don't remember. I think it's May 15th, 16th, and 17th, I believe. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, John. But we have that coming up. CAPI camping is so much fun, guys. Lots of food, lots of friends, lots of fun. May 15th, 16th, 17th. Yeah, thank you, John. I thought I was right. But this guy in here, he lies to me all the time. I have to make sure. Y'all just don't. You just don't know. I had to make sure every single dadgum time. But yeah. You guys get if you are, they would give you a patch. Damn, a patch. I'd just rather not. I'd just rather wait than have a patch. But I wonder if you can vape. Can you vape? And I doubt you can vape. I don't think no hospital likes vaping right now because there's so much on that. But CAPI camping is so much fun, y'all. You can primitive camp, you can tent camp. Excuse me, you can camper camp, or you can hotel camp. But nope, you can't vape either. Yeah, I didn't figure you could. But on CAPI camping, it is so much fun. You get to go. I mean, we do the class. You get the entire class at the CAPI camp. Sometimes we'll do the class online, and then later on you'll get your hands-on training or your first investigation, or or even when we do it in face-to-face classroom setting, you don't always get to do it. You have to you don't always get to do the hands-on and the initial investigation to meet the requirements for certificate for the class. But on the CAPI camp, you get everything right there. I mean, we do the freaking class, we do hands-on, we do first initial investigation, and if you're interested in joining the team, we do also do the team vote, and you also get your certificate. Um, the last CAPI camp trip we did, we didn't get certificates because somebody forgot them. It wasn't me. It was that guy, this guy in here. So it wasn't me. Casper's over there, y'all. I wished he would come over here. Y'all want to see how big he's gotten. For y'all that's been watching for a while, y'all remember the kitten I had that was pure white, and I called him Casper. But then he grew up and he was not white anymore. But he's over there. I wish he'd come over here. He is huge, y'all. He is big. But Casper, he's not paying me no attention. But the not just the class and the everything you get with the CAPI camping trip, but it's the camaraderie, the fun. We have so much fun. I think I laugh more during the weekend during one of our CAPI camp trips than I do most of the year. I'm not kidding. And I laugh a lot, y'all. But we have so much freaking fun at these camping trips. Y'all, if you've never been on one, you need to come on one. We have a lot of live investigations coming up, y'all. A lot of live investigations coming up. We have some celebrity investigations coming up. We have historical places that we're going to be doing live. Y'all can't watch them unless you're a VIP member, unless you're a VIP Patreon. That's the only way you can watch the live investigations now. So if you want to get on those, y'all better check out Patreon. Link is down at the bottom. Check it out. I snuck and vaped. Oh, you're going to get in trouble. Beth is so bad. Let's see. Jennifer, that is not their decision. You can always sign and wait a minute. I missed something. That's not their decision. You can always sign an AMA to go outside and smoke. Yeah, I can get up, but I have to drag my IV stand with me. Yeah, you can do that. Thank you, Katie. That's a good idea. You can sign an AMA. They can't make you stay in the hospital. When you're in the hospital, you're not under arrest. A lot of people don't realize that. They think they have to do everything they're told to do. You're their customer, basically. All right. You are purchasing a service from them. So you're not a prisoner. You're not bound by anything. You're their customer. They have to do what you say. You're the boss, not them. So they have what's called an AMA. It's called Against Medical Advisement sheet. It's the same thing that you sign whenever you decide, you know what, I'm done. I'm out of here. I have a buddy of mine that possibly had a heart attack just before last week. And he was put in the hospital, and he was in the hospital for a couple of days, and finally said, you guys, this is where they send people to die. And he didn't sign an AMA. He just got up and put his clothes on and left. But y'all just got to know my buddy. He's crazy like that. But he's probably watching tonight. Well, I don't think he's watching tonight, but he will be watching. So you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. You know you ain't supposed to be doing stuff like that. You need to take care of yourself. I love you, and I don't want you to go nowhere. But you know who you are. But yeah, you can sign AMA and then walk out and smoke a cigarette if you want to. Wanda, my lead investigator, snuck me a Milky Way candy bar. That's too cool. Beth, I told them I was going outside to smoke and gave me the paperwork. Give me the paperwork I need to sign or I'm walking out. They had an AMA ready in no time. Yeah, once you let them know that you realize that you don't have to do what they say, that you're not their prisoner, then yeah, you can do what you want to. Yeah. So hospitals are really bad about that, about acting like you have to confirm to their every beck and call, and that you are basically a prisoner and you're being held there and all this stuff. But hey, will you see if you see my leather in there and all this, stuff? But you don't. Yeah, just remember Keith took my pack of cigarettes home. Oh, bless your heart. All right. So I think that's all the announcements we have for right now. Y'all know we got a lot of Patreon stuff coming up, so you need to get in on that. Um, we've got CAPI Pub coming up. We've got a lot of investigations coming up. Beth has booked us through March, and then we've got some celebrity investigations coming up, some historical sites coming up, and a lot of these are going to be the Patreons are going to be right there with us. Y'all ask Katie how cool it is to be right there with us, even though she's in Texas. She was in Alabama investigating with us, and her and Carter were, and they really enjoyed it. We had a technical snafu and they got cut short, but they still got. We actually wrapped it up not long after they got cut short anyway, but still, it was still a little bit of a letdown for them. Hey, Lynette, today I mowed the lawn and I also did some weeding to get rid of the weeds in our backyard without a fight. Awesome. You've been busy, Lynette. I am not a favorite patient. I know my patient rights, and they don't like people to know their rights or question them. That's absolutely right. I don't know why hospitals are like that. They act like they're, I don't know. It's just weird. But yeah, they don't really care for people who know their patient rights and know that they're not their prisoner. So um, it's crazy. I remember last time I was in, the nurse, they told me to be there at 5:30 that morning, and told me not to eat anything the night before. 15 minutes after noon, I was still waiting for surgery, and I'm hungry. Y'all don't know Johnny. Johnny is that guy y'all see every week that's really nice, and I'm just that kind of guy that turns the other cheek. I don't really like to get into an argument or altercations or anything like that. I try to steer clear from stuff like that, because the old Johnny didn't, and so I try to not be that guy anymore. But you want to see me fight? Get me hangry. When I get hangry, oh my gosh, it's not pretty. It is not pretty. And so I told the nurse, I said, well, you need to tell the doctor to like come on right now. Let's go ahead and go on in. And she said, oh well, I can't do that. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I got up. I didn't say anything. I just got up and got off the gurney and reached over and grabbed my robe and started putting my robe on, because I had one of those butt out sheets that they give you, the one way butt outs. And I got my robe and put it on. And she says, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to get a cheeseburger. And she says, no, you're fixing to have surgery. And I said, no, you told me I was going to have surgery at 6 o'clock this morning, that I needed to be here by 5:30 and not to eat anything the night before. And I didn't. And I'm very, very hangry right now. And to keep you out of the emergency room and me out of jail and anyone else that tries to stop me, I'm going to go have a cheeseburger now. And she said, well, if you'll give me 5 minutes, we'll come get you, and then they'll put you under, and you won't even be thinking about being hungry. 2 minutes later, they came and got me and took me back there. So yeah, just stand up for yourself when you're in the hospital. Don't take that off of them. Stand up for your rights. All right. Let's see. Is there any more questions? Oh well, this hospital is haunted though, so I'm trying to lock that one down. There you go. You wouldn't like Johnny when he's hangry. No, you wouldn't like Johnny when he's hangry. He gets very angry, very, very unpleasant. All right. Is there any other questions before we get started? I'm making sure I have all my notes. I do. Any more questions, announcements? Did I miss anything, guys? Carter had a blast and was very. Oh, she's talking about the. Listen, y'all look at Katie's statement, her text here, her post. Dadgummit, I can't never say it. Look at this. She's talking about her and Carter on their VIP investigation. Carter had a blast and was very intrigued. He kept taking the phone away from me so he could watch, and I didn't get to watch it all. But what I did see was so awesome. See, y'all need to get in on this. Uh, that is a lot of fun when you get to go on the investigations with us, and you feel like you're right there with it. Carter, her son, was actually pointing stuff out that he saw. He would point at the screen and say, look, I see this, this, and this, watch this. And the shadow was right here and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. All right. So I guess there are no more questions. It was a lot of fun having them with us, wasn't it? I look forward to doing that with our patrons a lot more because that was a blast having them there, and it was a blast to see how interested her son was. He's very young, and he's I mean he's over our age limit. He's over 12. He's 13, I think. 13 or 14, Katie. I think he's 13, maybe 14. Which one is it, Katie? But yeah, it was a blast just seeing him be so interested in the questions, and he was asking questions, y'all, that and make it not just asking questions, but making statements about what we were doing and the paranormal and all that. And that Katie was even his mom, and y'all, Katie and Carter are like this. They're not like some sons and moms that just argue all the time and are not really connected, and you hear the bedroom door shut with "I hate you, I can't wait to leave this house." It's not that kind of situation. They're super close. They're bonded together. They really are. They've been through a lot together. They survived cancer together. So I mean, they have been hey, Cassandra, there she is. Hey girl, it's okay. We haven't gotten started yet on the topic. We've just been doing our announcements and talking, so you didn't miss anything. But yes, um, he was asking questions. Carter was, and that Katie was being surprised. Even Katie was his mom. She was like, "How did you know this? How did you know that that's what that was? Or how did you know to ask that? Or how did you know what that was?" So it was a blast spending time with him, with those guys, with our Patreons, and uh, letting them join us on the investigation. So we look forward to doing that a lot with our Patreons. Um, so let's get started. Carter won't stop talking in asking cases. Would not, yeah. All right. You guys, does anybody remember what we were going to talk about? Who remembers? Who remembers what we were talking last week? We started. I think it was. I don't remember who it was. He's 13. Thank you, Katie. I knew he was 13 or 14. But amazing young guy. He really is. He's super, super sweet, super nice, very polite. But yeah, very handsome, very inquisitive. He's just an all around American guy, American kid. He's great. Don't make him any older than my little baby already is, right? I know how you feel there. I don't know. I was MIA last week. Yep. Cassandra, there she is. She's the one that actually asked the question. She said, "I asked what happens to spirits after we die, and do we move on to heaven instantly, or do we hang around, and so on and so forth." Yep, that's exactly what it was. And so we said we was going to talk about a little bit about what happens after we die. We're going to talk about the things that we um, know happens after we die. We're going to talk about the things that we hypothesize about what happens after we die. We're going to talk about different different religious views on it, and different scientific views on it, and how those are changing daily. Um, Not many people know that the scientific field that calls the paranormal a pseudoscience has actually recanted a lot of its afterlife views, and has now said that a lot of scientists are now kind of leaning towards that there may be a soul, that humans do have a soul. Um, I almost found out for myself yesterday morning, right, Jennifer? I'm glad you didn't. Um, but what is life after death? Does it exist? What are the different religious views on it and scientific standings on it? Like I said, science has changed its views and recanted a lot of stuff since their 21 grams theory. Who all knows the 21 grams theory, that we lose 21 grams when we die? um, as soon as we die. Uh, it was life after death. I've heard of that. Yeah, the 21 grams. Yeah, there was a scientist. I can't never remember his name, and I don't think I have it in my notes either because I didn't really thought about it. But there was a scientist many years ago who actually was able. I don't know how he did this, but he was actually able to obtain 6 bodies or 6 people, not bodies. They were alive, but they were alive. And this story has been blown out of proportion and everything. Here's how the story goes: is that he did a study on patients who were dying, and as they were dying, um, he recorded. He had them on a uh, special type gurney that weighs you. You know, when you put it on it, and it was probably a cath lab gurney, is what usually is, because you have to be under a certain weight to be able to get a catheter, a heart stent, or anything like that. And uh, so I'm sure that's probably what they were using. So I can't think of any. I've been in the medical field, and I can't think of any other gurney that would weigh you. But that's probably what it was a cath lab gurney. But he had them on there, and as they died, he measured them and recorded the difference, if any, and he knew what their weight was and everything. And so he found that they lost 21 grams weight at the moment of death. That's before body fluids expelling or anything like that. We all know that our muscles, as soon as we enter clinical death, our muscles relax, right? When our heartbeat stops, we go limp. That's why they call some people dead weight. If you got someone's passed out like a drunk or something like that, and you got to pick them up and it's dead weight, they call that dead weight because that's what it is. It's our muscles die, our muscles relax, and there's no more pitch to them. There's no more vigor to them. There's no more lift to them. We're not able to flex them anymore to push our legs up or to bring our arms up or pull our heads or torsos up. It's all just limp. So it's called dead weight. And the reason that is because everything, all the muscles stop at clinical death, right? And so the fact that they lose 21 grams at that moment, and this is before all of the muscle relaxations, and which is 8 to 12 minutes when we enter clinical, after or after we enter bio, before clinical, right before clinical, because anything that you ate that day or maybe the day before or anything like that, that's coming out because our sphincter is a muscle, right? So it relaxes. So there's no longer that tautness anymore. It relaxes. So anything that's in our tummies is coming out. Okay, coming out the back end. You may also, you're going to lose your urine and even any urine that's in your bladder. We no longer have the muscles that it takes to keep that in, so you're going to use that. You're going to lose. Sometimes you'll bleed, depending on how you died or why you died, and sometimes, of course, mucus and saliva and stuff like that's going to come out as well. So we're going to lose a little weight with all of that. Also, many people don't know that a male can actually ejaculate at the time of death. And a female can actually give birth if she's pregnant after death. It's called a coffin birth. And because all that stuff, it just expels stuff out of the body, basically. So the first argument to the 21 gram theory is that, we're going to lose weight because of all this stuff, and air comes out. If you've ever been there when someone dies, their air can come out of their bodies several minutes after they're dead too. It doesn't have to happen as soon as they die, but sometimes it does. And what happens is all this stuff is expelled from the body, so we're going to lose weight, right? Well, this is before all that happens. The 21 gram theory is before all that happens. All right, so that's what This particular science, if anybody knows that scientist's name, please pop it up here because it's going to bug me. But yeah, if you know that scientist's name, please say it. But he found that 21 grams was lost. Here's the holes to that story, and I'm not trying to dispel the existence of a soul. I'm just want to state, because I said something about the 21 gram theory, I also want to state how it's probably not true. He only had 6 people. He did a study with 6 people. You know, that's really not a case study. 6 people. For a scientific study, you have to have at least 25, preferably 100, so you can get a percentage, you know, around a percentage. But yeah, 6 people is really not a case study. The weight or the scales on the beds were not accurate. They were accurate up to a pound, but this is 21 grams. So, okay. And another really big part of it is only one of those 6 patients lost 21 grams at the moment of death. So is that the soul leaving the body? Possibly. Has it ever been recorded since? Yes. Has it not been recorded more so? Absolutely. So, you know, you be the judge on that. I don't think that our soul weighs anything, because it's without matter. It's without solidity. You know, it's an inner sense. It's energy. Energy does weigh. I mean, you can weigh energy, but I don't think that this is the type of energy that you can weigh. It's not that. It's an inner self. All right. So I do believe in the soul. I just don't think we can weigh it, and I certainly don't think it weighs 21 grams, especially from that study. So I mean, it just had a lot of holes in it. Let's see. I don't know about the babies. Oh, saying I didn't know that about the, yeah, babies. Yeah, yeah. A female can give birth after. It doesn't happen very often. It's very rare. But yeah, a female can give birth. It's called a coffin birth. Duncan McGoogle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Beth. It's Duncan McDougal. She actually says, "Oh, well, never mind. She fixed it. It's yeah, it's McDougal." But thank you so much, Beth. I couldn't remember who that was, but yeah, he's a scientist, and he did the 21 gram theory. But they had a lot of holes in it, so we can't really count it as 100%. But what really happens when we leave terra firma? Where do we go? Let's see where my notes has got me at here. All right, we already talked about heart stops, the brain dies, it starts to shut down, and we pretty much thought that for a long, long time, since the beginning of medical studies, until just in the past recent few years, we thought that once our heart stopped, we have that 4 to 8 minutes of time that we can actually be revived and brought back because our brain hasn't started to die yet. Sorry, y'all. I can't stand not being able to hear. It's driving me nuts. But it's the 6 to 8 minutes. People used to say 4 to 6 minutes, but it's actually 6 to 8 minutes. Sometimes even longer, depending on the conditions and the reasons. I'm so sorry. I just hit that mic. If y'all are wearing headphones, I'll probably be very angry at me right now, but I do apologize. I didn't mean to hit it like that. But that 4 to 6 minutes or 6 to 8 minutes, for years and years and years and years, for millennials, we thought that meant there's no coming back. If we've passed that threshold, our brain has started to die, and now that we can't come back from that. That's what we had in our minds, medically, not and scientifically, not just, wives' tales or anything like that. Well, in recent years, we found out that um, resurrection, if you will, is actually possible up to hours after death. That the brain activity doesn't just stop when our heart stops. Yeah, we lose a lot of muscle function, we lose body functions, we lose body control, but we don't lose brain activity. The brain could continue to be activated several hours after death, and there has been cases where people have actually come back from that, from where they've been several hours. Um, Way back when I actually, before I even started working on the ambulance, I was actually with my stepfather who worked on the ambulance. One night we were leaving a meeting, and we were in civil laboratory, which is Air Force rescue, civilian rescue, um, and SAR team. And we were leaving a meeting, and an ambulance pulled in front of us on the way to a call, and we knew the people in the ambulance because my stepfather worked with them, and so they stopped just up the road, and so we stopped with them. We found out that where they were going was a house, and it had an older lady next to a door. The family had come home and found her next to the side door of the house, and she was dead on the front, the side stoop next to the door. And then it was about 20 something degrees outside. It's like 22 degrees outside at the time. And so they started CPR on her, and we got her to the hospital. My stepfather and I, he went on the ambulance with him, and I drove the car up to the hospital to get him. And then we were also EMT, or not EMT, but instructors with Red Cross, and we taught a lot of stuff like CPR, emergency childbirth, first responder, blah blah blah, a bunch of this stuff. And so we went in with them on the code, and we were doing CPR on this. We worked this lady for 4.5 hours, because in the medical field, you're not cold and dead until you're warm. I know a bunch of people just said it, warm and dead, right? Y'all know, y'all have heard that. Drownings, electrocutions, and cold extremes are deaths that you can come back from. Okay, that 6 to 8 minutes doesn't always apply there. All right, because we worked that lady for 4.5 hours, and we were able to revive her once we got her body core temperature back up to where it needed to be, with a bunch of electric blankets and a lot of heat packs, and the heat in the room, the thermostat heat. We were able to, and a lot of packing blankets and these little hot packs around her and all this stuff like that. We got her back after 4.5 hours. We got her back with constant CPR. So a lot of people have been able to come back from that. There's also been cases of people that have passed away and have been by themselves, where no one was around. They didn't have people there doing CPR on them and stuff like that. Or they died and were able to come back as well, due to continued brain activity. So now we no longer say once the brain stops, or once the heart stops, you're dead and gone, and there's nothing you can do. Like I said, it can be several hours, up to several hours after the heart stops, that you can actually be revived. Now you take all these people that have died, and about 10% of them that have come back, not just died, but had died and came back. 10% of those people really believe in their heart that they were, or not just believe in their heart, but in a lot of them, it's been recorded where they've been able to regurgitate stuff that has happened. They're able to remember it and tell it. Stuff that has happened during, like while they were being operated on, or while they were being, CPR was being performed, or while, they were in the trauma room or whatever. Stuff that the doctors and the nurses said and did. And I used to know a doctor. I've known a couple of doctors like this, but one doctor in particular, who, by the way, his name was Dr. Pepper, which I always thought was funny. His name was Samuel Pepper, and he was a doctor. He was a level 1 trauma center physician, and he his name was Samuel Pepper, and he became a doctor, so his name was Dr. Pepper. But Dr. Pepper was very adamant about what you said and how you said it in his trauma room. Whenever he had a patient on the table, a code on the table, um, some people get it in their head, oh, well, they're dead. What does it matter? But that's not true. A lot of people have come back and repeated stuff that was said to them or around them and stuff that was done. Like they were standing in the corner watching everything. So about 10% of the people that do come back after a prolonged death are able to remember everything that happened to them during their time on the table. Um, a lot of them come back and say there's a very peaceful feeling with a bright light, um, with little to no harm. Usually the ones that come back and say that they had a peaceful feeling the whole time and that they saw a bright light and they had um, urges to walk towards it but didn't want to, and blah blah blah. I'm gonna get to y'all's comments. Y'all keep them coming. I'm not gonna get too far away from them. I promise I'll get back to them. But they usually come back and they're not only changed um, mentally, but they're also changed spiritually. A lot of those that come back and say that they saw a light or had that peaceful feeling or met a relative or something like that, they come back with a new lease on life, the whole new look on life and death. They're like, I'm no longer afraid of death. Death is now it's no longer a mourning, but it's a celebration. Um, and that's what we really should be doing um, on when people die. Is it okay to mourn for someone that died? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think it's okay to mourn for them. It's okay to mourn for you, for yourself, and for your loved ones that no longer, can see or hear or interact with this person, this family member or friend. It's okay to mourn for yourselves, but not for the person that died. Um, I was talking with a good friend not long ago, and we were talking about people's wishes when they die. Like personally, I want to be cremated. Um, and people's wishes on their funeral and how it's going to be done and stuff like that. It irks me when people say, "Hey, I want this done at my funeral. I don't want this done. You can't do this. You can't do that." I hate that whenever they do that because it's not a funeral is not for the dead. What? What do you mean it's not for the dead? You mean a funeral? Who is it for? Why would it not be? I mean, Sam dies, then Sam's funeral is for Sam. He dies. No, it's not. It's not for Sam. It's for the family. It's for the friends. It's for his associates. It's not for a funeral is not for dead people. It's for live people. It's your way to say goodbye. It's your closure. It's your time to mourn. It's your closure. I mean, that's what it is. It's your closure to losing that person. I'm so sorry about moving around so much, y'all. Y'all just don't know my leg is shooting pains. I'm trying my best not to have to take a break. But it's crazy that people think that a funeral is for, I don't think a person should plan their funeral. It's none of your business what's going to happen at your funeral. Why would it be your choice? It's not for you. Better not be there. I'm not going to be at my funeral. Okay. I'm just going to let y'all know. Y'all can do whatever you want to at my funeral. You don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to be there judging you. I'm not coming to my funeral. That's something I don't want to see. All right. I don't think any sane person would go to their funeral. I really don't. Now, if you're a sane person and you plan on going to your funeral, if you can, more power to you. Go for it. If you want to see who cries and who don't, I don't. I don't want to see my family and friends go through that. I really don't. That would be torture to me. And me not be able to say, "Hey, I'm right here." That would break my freaking heart. So I'm not going to my funeral. A funeral is not for the dead. For the dead, it's for the living. All right, it's for that's their time. All right. So where was I at? I'm sorry. I just read something and it threw me off. Now 10% say that they do remember stuff and they do see that light and they do feel that peaceful feeling. That leaves 90% that don't. Well, there's a couple of theories on why that is. Um, our first theory on that, which is probably the most um, prevalent in the scientific world, is there is a chemical that is released in the brain when we die, when we pass away. And I am so sorry, but I can't remember the name of the DMT. I'm sorry, it's DMT. It's a drug actually, but it's a chemical that the brain releases whenever it starts to die. When the brain starts to decay, the brain actually starts. Your entire body actually starts its decaying. It starts its decaying at the beginning of death. At the I know, but decaying actually starts. People always say decay. You actually start decaying when you're born. No, you don't. You don't start decaying when you're born. All right. Do you start dying when you're born? Yes, you do. You absolutely do. We depreciate worse than a Ford. Okay. As soon as we come off the showroom floor, we're starting to die. That's what we're doing. We're working towards death. All right. Our bodies are growing. And the whole time we are working towards death. That's our goal. Our body's goal is to make it to death. And it does every single time. It never falls short. Do we start decaying when we're born? No, we don't start decaying until our heart stops. Once our heart stops and our blood's no longer pumping through our body, we no longer have that miracle juice in us anymore, or it's not being distributed anymore. Then we start to decay, and our brain is one of the first things that does start to decay. And one of the things that happens when we start to decay is our brains to release DMT, and then it is readily available drug. You can actually get this the drug that is the equivalent of that secretion that our brain puts out as it starts to decay. But if you use that drug, it's very illegal in a lot of different countries, including America. It's very euphoric. And it's a hallucinogen. I cannot believe y'all see, I said that word right and my brain couldn't believe I said it right. And it tried to do it again. Just see that I say words wrong so much that when I say one right, my brain says, oh, there's no way you got that right. Right. But, yeah. And so you release that and it's basically the brain's way of kind of easing you into death. Let's just kind of ease into death. Let's don't go through this because our brain is still functioning. So what we want to do is we want to dope the person up so that they're not having to go through this trauma. Basically, it's just a defense, self-defense mechanism. And as it flows, it gets you're more euphoric, and we don't remember stuff, and it just kind of goes, and we just kind of pass out and go on about our way. A lot of scientists say that whenever that DMT is released, that is what starts those hallucinogenics, those hallucinations. That's when it starts. You're seeing that white light, and are you seeing that dead grandfather or something that's meeting you by the lake and by the river and bringing you across. So if you're from Japan and or much of the Orient, when we die, you have to go and barter with the toll, the guy at the barge, or not the barge, but what is it called? Ferry, the death ferry. You have to go there, and that's why they would put coins on the eyes so that you could pay the toll at the ferry to be brought across the river into paradise. Or you'd have to barter with them if you didn't have any money. And it gets sillier, trust me. But that's the DMT is what a lot of scientists used to say, or some still do, but not as many. Say that's why people saw a light, basically, and that's why they felt that peaceful, just relaxed and no longer fearing, and seeing grandma and grandpa meet them at the pearly gates, and stuff like that. It's because of that DMT, that drug that would give them this euphoria of peace and serenity. Um, I don't I don't personally believe that. I do believe that DMT is released. That's a it's a scientific fact, and I think it does. That is the body's one of the body's mechanisms for self defense to ease you into that you know that next stage of existence. But I don't believe that that's what is happening. I think what is happening. Who all here has had a dream and you remember having the dream, and then as you start to talk about it, you forget the dream. Y'all have had that aggravation before, right? You have one of those really, really awesome dreams, you know what I mean? That you just didn't want to wake up from. And then afterwards, when you wake up, you remember having the dream and how it made you feel. But then as you start to think about it or talk about it, you're like, hey, dude, I just dreamed. And as you're talking about it, you're like, oh man. And you forget it. You just boom, it just pops out of your mind. Also another form of self-defense that the brain is doing. Is it doing it just so that you don't get to enjoy the happiness of that dream that you just had, or the scariness of that dream that you just had? No, that's not at all what it's doing. What it's doing is that the brain is recognizing reality from make believe. The brain is recognizing, okay, it doesn't always get to do that during the dream. That's why we wake up and says, man, that dream was real. That was so real. I've had dreams where I've had to go check on family members. I've had dreams of my wife passing away, and I've gone to her, like I'll be downstairs and she'll be upstairs asleep, and I've gone to her with tears streaming down my face, and I get to her and she knows every time that happens. It used to happen a lot. I hadn't had one in a long, long time, but I did lose a wife. My wife did pass away years ago, my first wife, and that stays with you whenever it's something that was pretty strong. But so whenever I'd have that dream of losing Michelle, I'd be just like tears, just crocodile tears streaming down my face. And I'm running almost up the stairs, and I get to her and I just grab her and I hug her. And I see her when I open the door, I see her laying there in the bed. I'm like, oh, thank God she's not under the car, or she didn't fall off the cliff, or she didn't get shot in the drugstore, or whatever. I would run over there and just grab her and just bear hug her. And she would always, at first she would always say, what are you doing? I'm asleep, blah, 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 blah. But then I tell her, and then it happens so many times that now I go in there and just grab her and hug her. She's just like, I'm okay, baby. I'm right here. It's okay. She already knows. So yeah, but you get those dreams, and your brain wants to protect you from that mentally. It will protect you from that. It'll bring you it'll erase a lot of that stuff. Unfortunately, that also happens whenever the brain realizes reality between reality versus make believe. It'll also erase those dreams. That's why you're like, man, why couldn't I forget that nightmare I had 2 nights ago? Instead, I still remember that vividly. It still scares me. I still can't go in the bathroom without turning all the lights on between here and there, or I still can't go in the back of the house without someone being with me, or but yet I know I dreamed about my grandmother last night, and it made me feel so good, but I don't remember what happened and what was said. Why do I forget that and not this? Nobody knows. It's just, I mean, they're very selective. I mean, the process of self defense. So, mental self defense. So who knows? I think that's what happens with that 90%. Is that not that it doesn't happen, and that it didn't happen, but that self defense mechanism kicks in whenever that or the DMT. I'm still talking about that. Whenever that dementia of reality and versus uh, make believe. Whenever it's no longer dementia, it's wide awake and insane. Um, is there any question? Let me catch up with y'all's, because I'm so far behind now. Let me catch up with y'all's text here, and if y'all have any questions, just let me know. Da, 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 da. I talked to my dad who died in 1982 when I had an accidental morphine overdose about 5 years ago. Oh, awesome. Now, see, that's different, Beth. This is what Beth said because it's been so long ago because I'm still catching up. But it says, I talked to my dad who died in 1982 when I had an accidental morphine overdose about 5 years ago. And um, there is two different things there. Whenever we introduce pharmaceuticals, um, there's that's another show for another time. But that's a whole different theory on that. But when we introduce pharmaceuticals to our dream state or to our not necessarily dream state doesn't necessarily mean asleep. Okay, you've heard of daydreaming. We can dream while we're awake. When we have our thoughts, and when we introduce a chemical to that, it does one of two things. That either makes the whole thing up for us in a mindset of euphoria, or it can actually heighten our awareness to it, our sensitivity to where, yes, that really was your dad. You're just not able to see him every day, but through this chemical imbalance, through the pharmaceutical, you were able to, cross that threshold. So that's a whole different topic there. That's awesome. I'm glad you said that. Are you a believer in aliens or I? I am a believer in you, if that's what you're asking, dude, because you're there. Um, I don't study aliens or I don't investigate aliens. Um, I'm not a disbeliever. I'll put it that way. Do aliens count as the paranormal? Yes, they do. Sandra says, I think anything out of the normal is considered paranormal. That's just me. Yeah, it really is. That's why it's paranormal. I think I know where soda from because that's a soda called not there. Yeah. Why are you saying please be civil? What was said? I guess I missed something. Did you erase it? My grandfather passed away in nursing home and is my dad's dad, and I was upset to the point where I was not feeling good. My mother had to come for me, but I went to my grandfather's funeral. I just don't like graveyards, so my dad asked if I could stay at the that we went to, so I'd have to go to the graveyard, and he came back to get me. Oh, that's sweet. Um, yeah, that's why I write them down. Yeah, write my dreams down as soon as I wake up, so I don't forget it because I get messages through my dreams. Don't get me started on that, Jen. But you know how I feel about that. But yeah, the writing them down as soon as you wake up is a good idea. Actually, through meditation, you can write them down, or record them before you wake up. But that's also a whole different subject. Some Native Americans say that all the good within themselves go into the next world, and all the evil stays here on Earth for days or months. Yes, you're absolutely right. Cherokee, we're big on that belief. Can the relative who passed away haunt someone in their dreams? That is a tricky and awesome question, Lynette. It's a very intelligent question, but it's also very tricky. Um, I don't believe that a entity that was in skin, being a human that's passed away and is now a spirit. I don't believe they have any more powers than they had before they were on Earth or while they were on Earth. before they died. I don't think that they gain any special superpowers just because they're dead. It's still the same energy, still the same soul. It's just no longer bound by a meat suit anymore. All right. But I don't believe that death grants them any type of special powers. That's why one of the first things that we ask whenever we think that we have a demonic or a very dark spirit in an investigation is one of the first things we ask was, what was when they say they'll throw stuff across the room. Well, what did they throw? Did they throw your ashtray across the room or did they throw your sofa across the room? All right, because an entity doesn't have the ability to throw a sofa across the room because I don't have the ability to pick up a sofa and throw it across the room. All right. So I don't think we really gain anything by death, other than, time and space are no longer an issue because we're not bound by this meat suit anymore. But I seriously do not believe that we gain anything. So I don't think that they can manipulate us in our dreams or manipulate our dreams. But what they can do is they can subconsciously suggest something to us, such as their presence. Because I do believe that people come in contact with spirits and entities that they do not know that they came in contact with because their brain will write it out. We see things on probably a daily basis that our brain does not choose to allow us to know about, if you understand what I'm saying. I think that there's been encounters, supernatural encounters that people have seen that they don't even know they saw because their brain just wouldn't register it. See what I'm saying? The brain would not allow that situation to be known consciously so that, as to protect, as another self-defense mechanism. You see what I'm saying? Now, can they manipulate us in our dreams by doing that? If we do see them subconsciously, but we don't see them physically, yes, I think they can because they're putting that thought in our minds of them, so now we can dream about them because we've got that thought, and that's what we dream about. All right. Think about it like this. In the martial arts and in the paranormal, people have often asked me, how do I have a out of body experience? Well, there's a whole thing that you go through, a whole ritual you go through to have an out of body experience. I'm going to get into that right now because that's not what we're talking about. But it basically is meditation and talking yourself to sleep with that subject in mind, basically. And you can tell yourself what you're going to do, where you're going to go, who you're going to see, blah, blah, blah. So when you go to sleep, you rise up out of your body in your dream and you go around the city or wherever you want to go. You fly around and you do whatever it is you wanted to do and see who it is you wanted to see and whatever. Are you really doing that? Or is it just a suggestion that you gave your brain? Who cares? The outcome is still the same, right? It was still really, really freaking cool. Okay. So, it's awesome. If you want to do that, just Google, meditation and out of body experiences, and it'll give you these meditations, not medication. You can do it with medication too. If you've got these certain type of mushrooms, they grow and they're kind of stumpy, and if you turn them over, I'm sorry, that's another subject too. But you can also have an out of body experience with those mushrooms and with some types of acid. Postage stamp acid will give you one heck of a trip out of your body. I promise you. You might not want to get back in afterwards, though. Trust me. But you can get out of body with medication, but we don't want to do that. You want to do it with meditation. It's a lot safer that way. All right. So, yeah, I think that they can manipulate us in our dreams as far as us knowing they're there, but not accepting that they're there subconsciously. I hope I'm saying that to where you can understand what I'm saying. Our brain can position our thought process into a position to where we're not really seeing what we think we see, or we are seeing, but we don't know what we see. All right. And then it can manipulate a dream because subconsciously we see what it is that's in front of us. But physically and visually, our brain's not allowing us to accept what we're seeing in front of us, if you will. So, yeah, I think that they can manipulate our dreams in that way, that they put that that cognitive thought in our brain in the first place? So awesome question, Lynette. Awesome question. Yes, welcome, Mary. I didn't see a Mary. There it is. Welcome, Mary. Y'all, I don't know what's going on with my leg, but it's about to drive me crazy. Katie, you're trying to get Johnny started. I saw that and I chose not to. I'm actually interested in what she means. I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. For example, Katie, Friday night I had a dream. I was walking through downtown Wetumpka right after the parade, and I said in disgust that I didn't believe we missed being in this parade. And boom, next morning I get put in hospital and we missed being in it. I did not know that. I knew that she missed being in it because she was on her way to finish up the float with her team, and then that's when she passed out at the gas station, and she had to go to the hospital, so they weren't able to go into the parade. I mentioned a few weeks back and had an out of body experience, scared the fool out of me. Do jinns exist? I love to meditate. I love to meditate too. Um, Deadpool. Not in the sense of what you're probably talking about. No, they do not. Um, but that's a whole different show too. So, um, once we get to that, get through that part of our brain that says that I'm going to protect you or I'm going to allow you, um, I think that's whenever we're able to see. It's like people have asked before, if someone's dead, do they come back? Come back in as a ghost, and they come back as a ghost. Do they come back naked because their clothes didn't die, just they did, or do they come back, wearing what they did when they died? I don't think that there's a limitation there, and that's not really a gaining any type of thing. I think that that's just what they perceive that energy. They portray that energy the way that they want to portray it. All right. I was talking to a friend not long ago, and a a conversation about uh I lost my train of thought again. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I'm tired and I'm hungry. What was I talking about? I don't even see it on my notes. Hold on. Oh yeah. Once we once we get to the point to where our brains are opened up now, and they allow us to see what we see, for it being no need to protect. Like my brain, I don't think if I saw a spirit walk out in front of me, I don't think my brain would clue that out. I don't think it would protect me against that because it knows I'm not going to be scared. My inner self knows that that's not going to scare me. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to run after it. I'm not going to run from it, freaking out. I'm going to run to it. Right. So someone else that that doesn't do this, that doesn't, investigate the paranormal or haven't been doing it all their life, might run away from it, right? They might run, uh, to the nearest Catholic priest, right? Or nearest Baptist church, or whatever the case may be. They may want to get the heck out of there. So their brain may protect them against that. But once we're able to accept it and they're able to deal with that situation, then that's whenever we start building up an explanation or a definition of what we're seeing or what we're experiencing. How do we do that? We do that through our personal beliefs. And when I say beliefs, I mean our personal religion, right? Let's look at I'm gonna catch up with y'all's um, text in just a second. Let's look at religion, or let's look at Greek mythology. Um, who can tell me what the Greeks thought of on death? What was their beliefs on death? Does anybody know? Anybody? 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 And when we go through these religions, you're going to see a lot of similarities. All right, you're going to see a lot of similarities to those. All right, let me catch up with y'all's post here. Okay, I read that. It's Jennifer talking about the parade. I'm confused, blah, blah, blah. I've meditated a few weeks back and had an out of body experience. Scared the hell out of me. Okay, that's. Do jinns exist? Already answered that. Love to meditate. I don't know what jinns are. You know what jinns are? What are jinns? Everyone's asking. Honestly, believe that jinns are just dark entities that are given a different name in the Arabic culture. That's where it started, I think. Yeah, Arabic culture. I'm sorry, I didn't read that right. Let's see what anybody else says. Meditate to open your third eye. But again, that's just me. Hi, hi, Catherine. That's probably. Hi, Catherine. I believe in the show. I'm dead. Andrew, what do you mean by I'm dead? You have to pay Sharon to take you across the rivers. Rigger sticks to Hades. That's right, John. John's been doing his homework. I don't remember about Greek mythology and death. I believe in the shadow people. Andrew, tell me what you mean about death, please. Let's go back to that. What was it? Somebody was asked. Oh, jinns are nothing. Jinns are the reason. Who was it that asked about do they exist? Do jinns exist? Deadpool did. Um, and I answered that kind of quickly, but they did start in the Arabian era and in Arabia, and in that era, whenever they were kind of like the big kids on the block, um, pre Greek, post Roman kind of period. They basically said that a jinn was well, there was different schools of thoughts. A jinn is not a human and it's not an angel. It was kind of like an in between kind of thing, and they some people believe that when you die, if you're really really good and you're really really pure and almost perfect, not quite perfect because no one's perfect, but almost perfect, that you become an angel. Well, that's not true. Angels are completely different than humans. God creating the humans is what made a lot of the angels mad. It really irked them. That's why people say uh, that the devil wanted to take over heaven. That's why he was put in hell. That's not true. Okay. The devil didn't want to take over heaven. The devil knew he couldn't take over heaven. He would be stupid to even think that. And he's not stupid. You know, he's not sitting there thinking, you know, I think I can take God. I think I can take him. I really do. I think I can take him and I can become God. That's not what happened. The devil got jealous of us. He couldn't stand the love God gave to us. That's what his problem was. That's what he wanted changed. He was like, you know, and I don't want to, these little cockroaches you created and call humans, you know, they're no better than I am, or they're not as good as I am. They're way beneath me. And God's like, this is my creation, you know, as you are my creation. You're an equal child. And devil's like, they're beneath me. And so he wasn't thinking he was going to take over heaven. He was thinking, I don't think that humans are anywhere above my level or at my level, and they don't deserve to be children of God like we are. So they cast him out. He was like, you question me and you question my authority, and you say that, you know, you want to get your band of angels that are following you and you want to fight. Well, you're getting out of here. So he banned him. And he's still arrogant enough to think he can win. He's not going to in the second coming. He's obviously not going to, but he's going to think he is, and he still does. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. That's not even paranormal. It's para-religion. But think of a jinn as that person that was good enough to be above a human, but less than an angel, basically. And different myths had them at different levels too, because some beliefs that jinns were good and that they were guides, basically spirit guides from, you know, one plane to the next. Others believe that they're very evil, right? They've been depicted as being very evil as well. So just do some research and make up your own mind on them. I don't really have an opinion on them because I see them more as lore than I do as factual. So yeah, I think it's more of that I don't want to say Hollywood, because Hollywood didn't create jinns. They've used them, but they didn't create them. It's just more that let's spice up the story kind of thing, you know, more of that basically. So I hope I answered that. My answer officially is I don't have an opinion on jinns because I think they're more lore than they are anything else. All right. Let's see, where are we at? I believe in shadow people. I do too. Absolutely. I don't think I have a third eye as far as I know of anyways. You don't think you have a third eye? Just wondering because I butt head of an uncle who was being mean to my Aunt Rose, kept attacking me in my sleep. Oh my goodness. Isn't great mythology where they travel the river of Styx and weigh their guilt against a feather? That's one of them. Yeah. The Greeks basically believe that uh you uh were transported from the different realms by the river of Styx and taken over to Hades. And Hades wasn't a place to the Greek. Hades, they're kind of similar to the Egyptians. Hades was a person. Hades was their demon, their king of demon, their Satan, basically. And everybody went there, not just good people, bad people, but everybody went there until they were judged or reincarnated. All right, they believed in a lot like the Hindu or the Buddhist, that there are millions of heavens and millions of lives and millions of deaths and millions of chances until you reach that plateau, and you would continue just to keep coming back and doing. But the Egyptians believed the same thing, but the Egyptians actually believed that you could barter or theologize, 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 be a theologian, and to get you into the paradise, into the afterlife, without having to keep coming back over and over and over. And they did it by, if you've ever seen anything on, like whenever they find a tomb and they go in there, you'll see all these writings. They're in hieroglyphics and pictures and all that stuff like this, and it's all these writings, but they mean stuff. They believe that knowledge, you would ask questions. You would ask the gods, because there was more than one god. You would ask them these questions, or you would tell them these statements that showed your brilliance and your worthiness, and that was what you were able to come back as and everything. Um, they also didn't believe the old saying, "You can't take it with you when you die." They didn't believe that. They think that you should take it all with you when you die. They would bury people like kings and paupers. They would bury them with everything they had, to not only pay tolls, but also offer as sacrifice and gifts to the gods, but also to use whenever you came back, so that you wouldn't be completely, you wouldn't have to die rich, but be born again poor. You'd be able to use your stuff again. So uh you basically would go into the underworld and and hook up with Hades, not in Hades, but with Hades, because Hades was a person. It was a being. Um, Excuse me. Um, Plato even said, uh, trauma of birth makes us forget what we had learned in our past lives. Um, Anemesis, nemesis. I can never say that word. Anemesis. It's like amnesia, but it's not amnesia. It's anemesis. Anamnesis. I think I'm saying it right now. Anamnesis. That's what Plato called it. It was basically saying that the birth was very traumatic. The reentry was very, very traumatic. So traumatic that it would wipe our memory clean of all that they had learned in their past life, and that they would start over again. And some people believe that reincarnation um, is what we do over and over and over and over, the like Plato, obviously, but also like Hinduism, and some Buddhists believe that there's millions of lives, there's millions of heavens, there's millions of chances, and until you reach that plateau, which they called nirvana, um, that's whenever you would finally stop and be and admitted into paradise. And their belief is that if we continue to die and continue to live, and then continue to die and continue to live and continue to die and continue to live, and sooner or later we're going to get it right. Pretty much, we're able to get all these chances at life that says, okay, I did this whenever I was alive, whenever I was 10. That didn't work out so good for me. I'm not going to do that again. Oh yeah, and when I turned 22, I did this. Oh man, when I was 35, I'll never do that again. And basically, and that's what it is. Even if you made one mistake, and you're not at um that perfect mindset of paradise, so you can't enter Nephori, or nirvana. You can't get there. You can't exist, and then at that point you would become a god of one of your worlds. See what I'm saying? You would be perfect. Now you knew exactly how to live life perfect without making any mistakes, and so now you can continue on, because hey, you've reached nirvana. You're there. You've arrived. You can now teach others how to do that. So now you become a god, and you are able to enter into their idea of paradise. um the eternal spirit is basically what saying soul is, our the soul is our existence and our life is our experience, and that existence could never be taken away from us. It's always going to be there. It's eternal. um, that's where a lot of the similarities come into, whether you're talking about Christianity, Hinduism, Greek mythology, whatever you're talking about. um, Everyone believes the soul is eternal. Christians will argue and say, you want to have eternal life, then you have to, you have to be asked for forgiveness and bring God into your heart and call upon Jesus and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not a correct statement according to the Bible. This is something a lot of Christians say, but it's not true. Um, Nowhere in the Bible does it say the soul is going to die. What? What do you mean? Yeah, it does. It says you go to hell, you're going to die eternally. You're going to be down there. Well, you can't die eternally. That means you're alive. That means you exist. Your soul is there eternity. So you're always going to be there. It just depends on what you want to do for eternity. Do you want to be carefree and living in heaven, or do you want to be tortured and in pain and obviously pretty hot? For your eternity. But the soul doesn't die. We don't kill the soul. It continues on forever. Once it's created, excuse me, once it's created, no matter what religion you're in, once it's created, it's either going to reincarnate or it's going to, keep going into heaven. All right. Let's look at Christianity. Is there any questions so far? Greek mythology believed there was a god of sleep and he would appear to people and carry them to the afterlife. Not necessarily, Catherine. They didn't really. Yeah, I guess I'll go with that. But also, Greek mythology thought there was a god for everything. Just like Christianity thinks there's a demon for everything, they thought there was a god for everything. So the Greeks pretty much thought that, whatever taboo or simple pleasure or personal pleasure, it had a god for it. So I'll go with that. Yeah, but it's kind of a broad statement. That wasn't necessarily a requisition, to have that God to be able to carry on in their belief. That was just the God they assigned to that task, basically. Depending on how you lived your life, when you possible places, yeah, and also, John, depending on how you lived your life, on whether or not you come back as a cockroach or whatever, So haven't slept in 2 days. Well, go to sleep, Andrew. And the shadow people are people that paranormal people that the shadow people are people that paranormal people that are either friendly or disrespectful towards other. I don't know what you're saying there, Andrew, but I kind of think you got that wrong, but I don't know what you're saying, so I'm not going to say that. Satan was an angel once. Yes, Satan. Well, Satan still is an angel. Okay, don't get that wrong. Satan is an angel. All right, he didn't stop being an angel. His address changed, not him. Okay, he still is what he is. He's just not on the right team anymore. Katie, your third eye is basically your pineal gland in between your eyes and your forehead area. Everyone has this gland. It's just up to you if you want to exercise it. Yes, I saw that when she had said earlier that she didn't have a third eye last time she looked. I kind of giggled at it. I didn't get into it because I didn't want to. That's not what we're talking about tonight. But yeah, I do see what you're saying there. They're wandering entities between planes. They are wandering entities between planes. I don't really agree with that statement, Deadpool. Um, let's say there's traveling entities between planes. How about that? Because we're not going to stick around between planes. All right, you're not going to stick around in between two parallels. All right, those are entrances and exits. All right, not hangout spots. So let's say traveling through different planes, not wandering through. Good night, Beth. I hope everything is okay. You better text me and let me know. And if your bad deeds are heavier than a feather, a monster will eat your soul. Yeah, we just jumped all up into make believe now. The Egyptians also mummified their people. Not just the Egyptians, but yeah, they did mummify people as well because they knew that they would be back for that body. All right. Christianity. All right. A lot of people in Christianity today believe that Christian death is a time for celebration because we die and we go to heaven or we go to hell. That's what they believe. If you're a Christian and you follow the light. Oh man, my leg. You follow the light and the beliefs of Christianity, then you're going to when you die, you're going to get judged and you're going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell. And that's the cut and dry of it. That's what they believe. But it's not quite accurate the way they say it. There's different levels to where we're going to go when we die if you're Christian. Um, excuse me. We have Earth. That's where we're walking around at, right? That's terra firma. That's where we're at right now. That's once we leave terra firma, then that's where we want to go. So between Earth and the next step is death, right? So we die. We're on Earth. We die. We go to in between those planes, like you were talking about Deadpool. We go in between those sections. We don't wander around in there. We just go through death. All right. We don't hang out with death and die, 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 die. We walk through that plane. All right. We just walk. It's a portal, basically. It's a passageway. Let me say it that way. And so when we go to our next plane, which is Hades. All right. Now, this is strictly Christianity. Okay, guys. This is Hades. Hades isn't necessarily hell. A lot of people think that Hades is hell, but Hades is not necessarily hell. Hades is actually split into two levels. All right, you got a bad level and you got a good level. And actually, second parallel speaking, bad levels on top, good levels on bottom. So instead of going up to heaven, you'd go down basically in Hades. But it's not heaven. It's that second parallel, all right, where we're at. Or third plane, right? Because we've already gone from Earth, death, number 3, okay, to Hades. And Hades is split. We've got a bad place and we got a good place. A good place is basically purgatory. It's where you're going to hang out until the second coming. And the bad place is where you're going to go. It's your personal hell, basically. You're going to hang out there until your time to be judged. All right. And then when Christ comes back, like he promised to do to all the Christians, he is going to call his children. Who's going to be first to go? The dead. The dead in Christ shall rise, right? That's who's going to go first, is the dead in Christ. They're going to rise up and go to him. And they're going to leave Hades and go to Christ. The good people, they're going to go to Christ. The bad people in Hades are not going to go. That's when they're going to get judged. All right, they're going to be judged as they're coming out of Hades into that fourth parallel, that fourth plane, if you will. They're going to get judged, and then they go from that plane to hell, to their eternal hell, basically. If they're the bad people and their name does not appear in the Lamb's Book of Life, then that's when they're going to go to their eternal hell. Okay, the actual hell. All right. The good people, the people that are saved and are Christian and follow Christ, they're going to go to heaven after that. Um, Fourth parallel. They're going to go into their eternity, which is heaven. And then they will that's their eternity. That's where they're going to be. All right. So in Christianity, a lot of people think that when you die, as soon as you die, you walk right up to the podium, and you're judged right there. That's just simply not true. If that was true, then why would the dead in Christ rise? There wouldn't be no need for it, right? There would be no need for us to do that. All right. So earth, alive, death, Hades, your choice where you go on your works, your acts. Second coming, the final wedding, when he comes to take his bride, um, eternity, where we're going to spend that. All right. Christianity says you have a choice on that. God gave you two things. He gave you free will, and he gave you a choice. And God does not demand your love, command your love, or order your love. He requests your love. It's your choice if you give it to him or not, right? So, and we're talking strictly Christianity here, okay, guys? I'm not trying to say it's either or. All right, that's for you to decide. Let's jump over to Buddhism. You enter Buddhism is cyclic. You do good, you do bad in your life. Much like the Egyptians, you're going to have to wait until you reach that nirvana. You're reincarnated. So let's talk a little bit about reincarnation. That's one of my favorite subjects. That's what makes this subject my favorite subject. Excuse me. Just in America, 72% of the people in America believe in heaven. 72% believe in an afterlife of eternal bliss or eternal hell. 54% believe in an afterlife, but not necessarily heaven and hell. 18% believe in or have had a near-death experience, with over 250,000 recorded cases. 250,000 recorded cases of NDEs, or near-death experiences. Nietzsche said you should embrace your life. And the reason he said that is because if you're having a really great life, that's the best one there is. That's what Nietzsche believed. Friedrich Nietzsche, he was a philosopher and scientist, kind of. You're talking about pseudoscience. This is before science was able to do any type of experimentation. That was what you call pseudoscience, but they call us a pseudoscience. But I mean, these are the guys that thought the earth was flat. Come on, you know. So, but Nietzsche said you should embrace your life. What was he saying there? He was saying that if your life is great, embrace it, love it, because that's as good as it gets. All right, that's it. That's it. He believed that that life and death was cyclic, that it was just one big cycle, and it just kept going on and 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 on. You're going to have a good life, or you're going to have a bad life. It depends on what you do during that life. So what I'm saying, you make your own destiny. All right, eternity is not destiny. It can't be. Okay, destiny means a destination. That means destiny means, people say you can make your own destiny. Then that means you can choose your own destination in life, right? Destination means we're going somewhere. It doesn't mean that we're going to keep going, right? It means there's a goal for us, all right? We are destined to do this. We are destined to end up here, all right? Not to continue keep going in that figure eight, that eternity. If we're destined to do something or go somewhere, that's where we're destined to reach. We're destined to reach that destination. All right. So destiny is not eternity. So, but we can end up, our destiny can end us up in eternity, will end us up into eternity. It just depends on what destiny we decide to take, what road we decide to take to get there, basically. Um, and Nietzsche didn't really believe in a nirvana, but he did believe in gaining that sense that got us to where, okay, yeah, we're there now. We have arrived. Okay. Um, yeah. Then my favorite, well, it's not my favorite. It's just my most ridiculous one. The one I just don't believe, but a lot of people do. But I think it's the most ridiculous one is the blackout theory. Does anybody know what blackout theory is? That means like a cockroach. When you step on a cockroach, it's just gone. Boom. When we die, we're just like a cockroach. It's just over. Everything goes black. It fades to black. And we no longer exist. So we don't think, we don't see, we don't hear, we don't do anything. We're just gone. We're just, I think that's the most ridiculous um, evolution or finish line there is. I really do. I think it's ridiculous to think that because remember, we have brain activity after we die. We know about stuff that goes on after we die. Um, we can still think to ourselves and dream and have goal oriented or dreams while we're asleep and our brain functions are shut down. Um, so hello, where there is an inner self, there is an inner soul. Okay. If it's just lights out, then yeah. Um, atheists believe that. Not all atheists believe in blackout theory, Deadpool. Atheist just means that you don't believe in a creator, that you don't believe in like God. Let's just use that for an example. Um, it yes, my opinion too, Johnny. My opinion too, Johnny. Did I miss something? Christians don't say they're let's see, go up here. Da, 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 and if you had bad days, have read that one, Katie. Katie Olson says, or Cassandra Olson said, so with that, the spirits that stay around, did they avoid going to Hades? What will happen to them? Definitely, or Christianity speaking, when our Heavenly Father calls us home. Well, if you were wanting to talk, if you're wanting to answer that in a Christian aspect, there's no need to answer that question because it can't happen. You're kind of canceling yourself out there. I think nobody knows this. Okay. Everything that we talk about as far as after death, life, we know, we live it, right? We can experiment in life and find stuff out, right? Death, we know it's all hypothetical. All right. I'm making a hypothesis whenever it comes to death, just like everybody else is. There's people out there, especially in the paranormal, that will tell you they know everything there is to know. And this is factual. This is my belief, so you got to believe it. Okay. All right. That's a load of crap. All right. Nobody knows. Remember, I've told you guys a million times the only way to get to know exactly what happens when we die is to die, go take some notes, come back and let everybody know. That's the only way to get a specific and registrable um, idea of what happens when we die. All right. And nobody wants to volunteer for that. All right. So, um, I think we do get that choice to whether we move on or we stick around. I think we do. That is a choice we get because if we didn't get that choice, then why are there so many people still sticking around? And we know as paranormal investigators that they are sticking around, right? Or we wouldn't have the evidence that we have. We wouldn't have had the experiences that we have. We wouldn't have heard, seen, or smelled the things that we, or felt the things that we have, right? If this wasn't possible. Um, Christianity, speaking on that level, there's not going to be anybody in that void. All right. Christians say that when you die, you're going to go to your just desert. Um, not your eternity, but your just desert. You're going to go to Hades. All right. You're going to hang out in whichever level you were supposed to be at until the second coming. Um, there is no um, halfway. Christianity says, hmm, all forms of Christianity says that any ghost, spirit, or entity that is left on earth is demonic. All of them. I personally do not agree with that. That's why I don't agree with everything Christianity says. But who can believe in everything Christianity says whenever it's the most brutal religion ever in the history of the world, even worse than um, uh, Muslims. Christians have killed more people for nothing than anybody else. Um, Radical Christianity has been pretty brutal throughout the since we've been on this rock. They've been pretty freaking brutal. So, but yeah, if you want to go with that, see, your question is saying, I know what you're saying, Cassandra. You're saying, so if someone doesn't go into the light, if they choose to stick around, um, and they just hang out, but when God comes back and Jesus steps out on the cloud and he calls his children home, and what's going to happen to that person that didn't go into Hades? I see that's what you're saying, but there, Christianity says that can't happen. So there is no answer for that on a Christian standpoint. The Christian says when you die, you go to your just desert. That's what's what's going to happen to you, whether you like it or not. So it couldn't happen that way. But theoretically speaking, um, I think that, and like I said, hypothesis. All right, this is completely just opinion. Um, and I can't talk to spirits either. I never have been able to do that. I don't have that ability. So I've never gone to them and said, "Hey, what happened? When, what do you think is going to happen? What's going on? What's the talk on second coming with you guys that didn't go into the light? What's going to happen there?" Um, because obviously they will be there. But for all we know, God's not going to allow that to happen. God, maybe they are able to go there now, but whenever before that time period happens, just like He's going to set us aside before the Holocaust, uh, the Great Tribulation. His Christian, He don't want his family, his children, to be here whenever they go through the 1,000 years, right? I mean, He didn't want us to have to experience that. So that's why He's coming back to take us home, so we don't have to go through that. Okay, um, so maybe there's something there that says that they're not going to uh, not going to be there. That will be reconciled before the return. I don't know. Nobody knows the answer to that. All we can do is guess. I do know ghosts exist. I do know they're there because I've seen them. I've heard them. I've felt them. I've smelled them. I've talked to them. I know they're there. I don't know what happens to them in that sense, though. In that situation. Let me catch up here. Make sure I'm not getting too far behind. What?
And remember one time you was in the sun and you got caught in one.
Okay.
I meant caught in one.
All right. Yeah. Christians do not say the demon's name, only the angel's name are said. For example, this is one demon I do not like, but Saint Michael always gives. All right. All right. Okay, I'm back. Nurse came in to get my vitals catch up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm worried about Beth. I want to know what happened with Beth. She better be texting me. I agree. It's hard to think that there is no reason or purpose. It's not just random that we are here. Yeah, absolutely. It's not. I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory. I really don't. There's just all this didn't happen randomly. You're swallowed up by the flying spaghetti monster. There you go. I like that one. Some people, including a friend of our family, thinks when animals passed away, they will meet us at a bridge called Rainbow Bridge. That person was doing some drugs. That's ridiculous. That is what I agree with. That is that. It's ridiculous. That's what I agree with. But there's a simulation theory too. We could be just respawning after death, like in video games. Yeah, I guess so, Deadpool. I guess that's possible. Of course, I think it's idiotic, but it's I think that's as idiotic as the fade to black or blackout theory. But yeah, I guess it is possible. Let's see. Of course, but I personally respect your hypothesis. 100% not true, but that's what's confusing me. Wait a minute. What did I miss? What is 100% not true? That's the part I missed. That is what's confusing me. That's why it's so hard for me to accept everything I hear from Christians, though I am not mm, Denominational myself, it's just confusing. They are not all demons. I agree. Don't retract your message, Jennifer. Answer my question. What is the 100% not true? That they're all demons? Yeah, I don't believe that either. If that's what you're talking about, but that's just what Christians think. Most Christians think that is that it's if they're that they do believe in spirits, but they say that earthbound spirits are all demons or demonics. Um, let's talk about the way science looks at it. Science used to say it's just none of it's real. We hit a big rock and the temperature on the biggest piece that stuck around got close to the moon, so it was rounded off by the winds and the constant torture of space, and then began to get into a formation of land mass and water, and moisture was collected, and it built seas and oceans and rivers and creeks, and there was a tadpole that crawled out of the water to turn into a frog, but it accidentally turned into a man, and we became what we are through being hairy and ape like to being hairless and uh, unless you're Italian, you haven't quite evolved that far yet. You're still very hairy, but yeah, I don't believe that. That's just too far fetched for me. It's like a good friend of mine said one time. He said it takes a lot more faith to be an atheist than it does to be a Christian, and it really does. It really, 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 really does. Um, but science has always looked at life and death as cut and dry. You're alive, and then you die, and then everything else continues on, right? And we keep doing that until the process cuts out. Um, Brian Cox, for example, I know y'all have heard of him. He's been on Joe Rogan. He's a big advocate for anti-soul. He don't believe that there's a soul, but he also has actually recently said that science on the basis of life and death is a work in progress. So consciousness and thought uh, uh, dreams, and back to knowing situation, thinking that there's back to knowing what's going on whenever we're unconscious or whatever. It's it has to be something there. And scientists are actually starting to, like we said earlier, they're actually starting to believe that. They're actually starting to believe, not because of 21 grams, or because of uh, Joel Olstein doing a great job at his church and preaching, but because they're starting to realize that there is brain activity after death. There is a subconscious. There is an inner person, and scientists are starting to realize that, and it's had to kind of reverse a little bit of its thinking. But like Brian Cox says, science on the subject of life and death is a work in progress. So, but let's talk a little bit about reincarnation. I mean, do you have anybody that believes in reincarnation by any chance? The Scientologists, to me, my opinion, are quack jobs. Yeah, Scientologists, big time. Yeah, I don't believe in any of that crap either. But hey, if Oprah and Tom Cruise said it, it must be true. Christians don't believe in killing babies. That's right. I don't believe in killing babies either. I hated the debate between Bill Nye and a Christian public figure. I couldn't bring myself to watch him, and I watched Bill Nye in school to learn about science. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Uh, that's too far into politics and debating on uh, Christianity and scientific, and I don't want to do that. Really affected my view of him. Yeah, I bet it did. All right. Reincarnation. The only thing about reincarnation that kind of gets me is you have certain cases. I want to give you some homework. And I'm almost done. I'm fixing to close, but I want to give you guys some homework. I want you guys to go and study on James Linger. Um, James, James, Linegar. Line Gar is what it looks like. Line line Gar, Gar. This Linger. It's James Linger. I want you guys to kind of read up on him a little bit, and then come back and tell me what you think about reincarnation. This kid was able to. He believed that he was a reincarnation of James the Third, not any king or anything like that, but James Houston Jr. was a soldier that died on D-Day. Um, James Linger was more recent, and he was able to tell his parents that he took off in a jet or in a fighter plane off of the Natoma Bay, which was a ship. He was able to name the other soldiers on the ship with him, as well as his best friend flying next to him whenever he was shot down. He was able to know about James Houston Jr.'s family, certain items in a attic across country, way across the country. Um, it, I don't want to ruin everything for. I want you guys to go and kind of uh, see what you think about that. And the reason I want you to do that is because I want to leave you guys with this. Reincarnation is one of the most proven forms of religion out there. Um, in itself as a religion. There's over 250,000 recorded cases of a past life. Um, this guy, James Langer, started telling his parents about James. Uh, is it Linger? I thought it was. Yeah, y'all look it up, make sure. But Cassandra's saying it's LIN, which does make look a little bit better. But yeah, just look it up. You'll find it's either LINGAR or LINEGAR. I think it is LINGAR, but look him up. He was 2 years old when he first started giving out information about his past life, and it was very accurate. Scientists have looked at him, and the only thing they've been able to say is, well, this was just his family must have. He heard his parents talking about something and he repeated. The kid was 2 years old, man. He was too damn years old. And his dad didn't tell him the names of the people that were on the Natoma Bay and that James Houston rode with or worked with and served with because he didn't know any of that. The 2 year old started the whole conversation. So just look him up if you guys would, if you have time. You don't really have homework for Cappy Live. I just want you to kind of get into the mindset of understanding that there is a possibility of everything. All right. So in your leisure, please go look up James Langer and just read up on that. With over 250,000 cases of past life remembrance, something's got to be there. You know, something's, and these kids are telling stories that are just, there's no way they can know them. Just no possible way. There's past life remembrance from the Titanic. There's past life remembrance from September 11th, from 9/11. Um, just kind of go check out this story on him, and it'll kind of open your eyes to the possibility of a little more than just the different religions that we talked about tonight. All right. Um, if you guys don't have any more questions, um, I'll tell you what. Let's look at it really quick. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can. I guess you could just Google his name. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I can't find anything. Let's see. No, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, just look him up. You'll be able to see him. I'm sure. Cassandra said she got him, and it's LEININGER. I think is what it says. But yeah, you guys look him up and just kind of do that because I want to talk about reincarnation a little bit more on another show. So because it kind of goes into what we're talking about tonight, but then it goes to a whole different thing too. So hello,
Hey, Dad.
hey, hold on. Um, so you guys do me a favor, look that up, and then kind of make up your own mind on that, and kind of do a little bit of stuff on reincarnation. And we're going to go into that next Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because it's enough just in that one view to where you can go to a whole different rabbit hole than what we've talked about tonight. So go do that for me. Kind of get ready for next week, and then we'll pick it up next Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll pick it back up from where we left off, which is at reincarnation, because that's a really cool subject. It's one of my favorite subjects on this, the whole life and death thing. So you guys join us again next Sunday, Central Standard Time at 9 p.m. Make sure you, if you haven't already, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and definitely ring the notification bell so it'll tell you when we're on, because we do have some um, shows coming up that aren't going to be live. So you definitely don't want to miss those. If you are a Patreon. I couldn't get it out. I'm so tired. I love you guys. Thank you so much. We will see you guys next week. And until then, have a paranormal week. And remember, go sign up for the book club. Go to the website and get the book. Sign up for the class that's coming up. Get with John on that. And make plans to be there on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of May 2020 for our CAPI, our next CAPI camping trip. We love you guys. Have a paranormal week.